welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia in the trees. Welcome if you are new. My name is Felicia again. I am a human and civil rights advocate. I run a non-profit organization in women's health called DIVAS Can Manifest org. We are a communications organization to raise your awareness in women's health. We are open to all that finds Felicia in the Trees Tarot and Divas Can Manifest org. You can find a description down below of the subject matter that we cover, and some more important links. Recently, happy 11/11 portal. Go ahead and tune in with us over on Exo Felicia in the Trees YouTube diaries. That is where we will where you will find a pole dance showcase for Halloween as well as 11/11 portal, and we're about to get ready to celebrate 12/12 portal and also release a new album, LOL. So let's get into it. So today we're getting into a pick card tarot reading, and this one is how are you currently triggering others. Okay, we have 3 piles for you to choose from. Pile 1 is citrine. You can actually purchase citrine in our community shop, where all of the proceeds go back. The proceeds go back to our nonprofit organization. Pile 2, you are ANDALEEB, which translates to nightingale. Okay, thank you for whoever translated that for us in the comments a couple videos back. And then pile 3, you are the Juicy Couture perfume. Viva la Juicy. So let's get into it, and I'll see you guys in your pile. Bye. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your selection. So you chose citrine, which is also available in Cosmic Intelligence. So I'm going to put your selection right there. Okay. Okay. So how are you currently triggering others, pile 1? Okay. How are you currently triggering others? I'm hearing that there's so much going on behind the scenes. This could be a particular person, or this could be a group of people, you know, others as a collective. But I'm getting that there's a situation. This relationship needs some type of healing. Okay, forgiveness needs to happen in this situation. And I think that, you know, that means that there needs to be a conscious decision to release resentment. And so people who have not been, you know, people who are getting triggered are people who, you know, felt like they were harmed in some type of way, feel like they were injured, disrespected in some type of way. And so, you know, that is how, you know, that's the root, a cause of the trigger is resentment and a lack of forgiveness. Okay. We have prayer. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, how you're triggering others right now, I can sense that there are there is, you know, this may involve your prayer and your meditation practice. This may involve flexibility, movement, aesthetic, modeling. Your silence is also very triggering to people as well. Okay. So there's somebody here who, this is about your yoga and meditation practice. Like something, every time they see you moving, okay, every time they see you, you know, flexing, extending, especially if you guys are into yoga or movement, every time they see your body open and expand, they're very triggered by your movement. Okay. They're triggered by your flexibility. They're triggered by, you know, how you're currently triggering others is literally by being at peace. I think that actually triggers a lot of people. These could even be strangers, where people are, I'm hearing that you're always in a deep meditative state, always in a reflective state. And there's so many people, I'm hearing that there's so much going on behind the scenes, or there's so much going on in the chaotic world around you, that there are people who see your silence and meditative state, or they see you at peace, and they get so triggered by your peaceful state of mind, and like how you seem serene and put together. Like these are like, some of these are strangers, people who you literally have to pray away, because they're getting in an uproar at seeing you put together and at peace. And they see, some of them, they might see you with some type of connection to a religion or association to a religion. Maybe you're wearing a particular type of pendant, or maybe there's a hobby or activity that you're taking up that shows that reflects your religion, your belief system, or your higher beliefs and higher power help you keep your zen. And people know that is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing your beliefs and how you have a strong spiritual conviction helps you keep your zen. But I'm also getting these, there may be even strangers viewing this, and they know that you're very, very pious, have a consciousness, you're studied. They can tell that you're just like, you're in a self-preservation and a protection state. Like they can see, some of them, they're seeing you wear a particular color, or they can see that you have a soft and peaceful life. And strangers are getting in an uproar when they see that they cannot, like they just feel so out of the sorts and out of depth, and they have a lot of unconscious gripping, when they see you, and they just can't stop staring, and they grow aggressive and triggered by you being put together, being fully present and empowered, and it just reflects back to them that they are not aware of something. Like that's why they get triggered. Like that's a lot of people who get triggered and defensive. It's actually because of an unconscious gripping. Some of them, they don't even know or are aware that they're getting out of control. Oh well, I'm also getting that someone, this may be someone that you have. I'm also getting like a side message. If this is involving a mutual dream with somebody, someone, they see that, you guys are coming to a place where you can either recommit or end the relationship. And I feel like every time that someone sees you making an advancement that is not controlled or dictated by their collaboration or participation, they get very triggered. It's like when they see you making progress, they get very triggered. So they know that you've been praying, or they know that you've been staying disciplined around something. So they know that that means that it's more than likely going to be an L for them. Some of these people, they really wanted you to take a downfall. They don't want you to be able to have this pretty soft life. They don't want you to be able to pray. They don't want you to be able to meditate. They don't want you to be able to study. They don't want you to have peace. They want to obstruct your peace. So a lot of them, they fight and attack you. I'm hearing that they're constantly, they're so defensive, towards you, doing your flexibility training, doing your meditation or yoga practice, praying. They're very triggered by you holding on to a spiritual conviction. Especially some of them, they wanted to have a kind of they want to have like some type of control mechanism over you. This person has an abusive behavior, and their behavior has been manipulative perhaps, or when you did not let them control your behavior, they grew enraged. Okay, and so when they see you when they see you making progress towards something that doesn't have to do with them, they get triggered as well. Okay, I'm seeing that, especially also like how you're triggering others with this obliviousness and awareness. It's like you make them aware. Like I said, some of them are doing a lot of this unconsciously. It's like, especially if these are strangers, they have a lot of unconscious gripping to you, and they're just, attached to you, and you're like watching you serene and watching you pray, watching you do your yoga. Like these are people who like get a high voltage, stark realization when they come into your contact, because you show them some type of oblivious, unconscious gripping that they're doing. Okay, you're like, that's strange. Like, you make them feel weird, or you make them aware of something. That shows that you have discernment, that shows that you're aware, that shows that you pray, that you're connected to reality, that you're not just, you know, sitting somewhere, you know, disconnected or overwhelmed by the chaotic world around, that you have that you're grounded is what I'm hearing. I'm getting that you're so grounded and aware, and that's very triggering to people, because they want to, a lot of these people, they know that it means that you have self-validation, that you're secure within yourself, that you won't be controlled or overly swayed by their opinions of you, that you don't need their validation or approval to do anything, especially if these were romantic partners or people that you once collaborated with in the past. They're very pissed off that you go your own way and that you don't need their, like, you know, especially when they see you making progress on your own, maybe even if it relates to a shared interest in a hobby or activity, or some type of work thing. They just see that you are not, like, inhibited, right? And I think that that's very triggering as well. So, and them not, like, collaborating or cooperating makes them aware that they're doing some type of oblivious, unconscious gripping rooted in a shadow attachment of pain and shame that stops them from reaching the fully intended targets. Even strangers, they know that they're not reaching the fully intended target of having a peaceful, you know, peaceful, balanced, organized life, and you being prepared, organized, and showing up, making progress, makes them feel like a loser. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, this is the matrix. Yeah, I'm getting that these are matrix groups of people. We have the 8th house, LGBTQAI. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting for a lot of you guys, this is around a partner. Okay. And you're making, you know, something where they saw that you have, they were pissed off because they tried to put up another illusion to cause a stalemate. These people, the matrix, I'm getting that these are people who are, you know, very obsessed with your sex and orgasms and relationships, and the support that you get from others, you know, possibly, you know, utilizing your sexuality. So some of them, you know, especially if they see you flexibility training or moving or aesthetic movements, they get very triggered because they know that you're giving people hard-ons. They know that you're giving people orgasms. Some of you guys, you have a fluid sexuality, and people are very triggered by this because they know that it means that you're not having the same kind of problems with envy, and you're not having, you know, these destructive emotions. Like, they really feel, they know that you are serene, and a lot of them, they get so triggered by, you know, seeing you because it probably inspires a lot of envy and jealousy, but they know that it's a one-sided conflict. You know what I'm saying? It's super dead. It reflects them being a super loser because they know that you're so inclusive and that you're never sitting around hating on someone else, right? LOL. Because for one, I'm getting that you have you get a lot of, you know, sex and orgasms, so you're never hurt about anything. The people who are, you know, clinging to your body and your organs are just not getting appealed to in the same way. They're not getting sacred sex. They're not getting orgasms. You know, they're not great, you know, in bed is what I'm hearing. But some of them, some of them especially, like, they will try to, I'm hearing they will try to chase your aesthetic. They will try to, a lot of these people will try to pretend like they are supporters of the rainbow communities, the Pride 365, to look like they're having this fluid sexuality to inspire, you know, to inspire or elicit desire more. But it's really, you know, that they just, some of these people, they have these masculinity issues that they weren't even aware of, right? These could even be partners that you've had, and they get really, really triggered by seeing you successfully heal your emasculation issues. You successfully, you know, and you learn to empower yourself where previously you may have had admonished sexuality, repressed sexuality, or have witnessed disempowerment. And a lot of them, You know, the reason why this matrix group, you know, attacked you is because they were really envious of your sexuality and orgasms. A lot of them, had an unconscious gripping. They were oblivious to their, you know, emasculation, their unhealed masculine energy. They're very unaware of, you know, how they have been fighting and attacking, right? And it's because they really are just not getting great sex because they have a repressed, like a really, really repressed sexuality. They're not liberated and free, and they're just, you know, they get caught up in standards of perfection, and they get caught up in, you know, your progress in life and overly comparing themselves to you, and they know that you're just not reciprocating this. They know that you're just not having that same kind of problems. A lot of these people got sold or bought into some type of imaginary conflict with you because they saw you getting sex and orgasms, when really, you know, it was just them being repressed so much that they have these really, they pick poor partners. They have very, very poor prospects. You know, they're illusions of attraction. They can't move. They're not flexible. Like, it's like every time they see the results of your, like, prayer, they get very triggered, okay? They're very, very triggered because they know that it means that you're having sacred, you know, intimacies, that you're getting, you know, orgasms, that people are, you know, that people long for you, that they desire you, and that they give you a lot of financial support because they need your body, is what I'm hearing. They need your body because a lot of you help them with their emasculation and minor sexuality, and a lot of them, they know that you are divine feminine, and so you really activate, you know, divine masculine energy with these unhealed masculines, okay? And that's why they're so triggered. And it's like, you know, you might activate them, but it's always something that they were oblivious to that was making them disempowered. Let's wrap. How are you currently triggering others, power one? This matrix group, they'll try to act like, you know, they have, you know, that they're inclusive, but they're really just out of control, angry and frustrated that you move so much better than them, and that you have a better life than them. You have better, you know, intimacy and orgasms than them, okay? You know, they hate to see you making progress with your prayer, okay? They hate to see you aware. They hate to see you in a zen, okay? They know that you're getting financial support from a lover. They know that you're getting desired, and that your partner is longing for you, okay? The Four of Cups, yeah, this person, they feel so emotionally stagnant, because they just are so oblivious to, like, their own unhealed masculine energy. It's like they just keep getting irrationally angry and out of control. This person is super unaware, or they have a lot of defense mechanisms. And I'm also getting that, you know, while you're, you know, eliciting so much desire, and people are wishing, yearning, and fantasizing about you, and you're giving people orgasms, people are really bored with them, bored with their lack. They'll, you know, so a lot of these people, they say that you're hotter than them, that, you know, when you move your legs or when you move your body, your movement is eliciting more, okay? Or they know that you're the one that has the relationship with someone, you're the one that's getting the sex and the orgasms, and they just get, you know, the Four of Cups. They just get boredom. They just get emotional stagnation. They just get blanks. They just, you know, nobody's getting turned on. They're not getting any hard-ons, and they're getting so angry, aggressive, and out of control that, you know, that they were so oblivious to have gotten to this out of control place. Like, people are really not feeling like that. Like, they're like, you got so out of control because you were under a matrix illusion that is out of control. Like, that they were just doing so much, and it's like they're very triggered by you because that probably means that you're the one disillusioning them, or it's just the fact that, like, time has gone on and they're just not getting, you know, desired and not getting financial support, okay? And so this is making them more and more out of control, okay? So tell me more about what they're doing with this Chariot. They're very out of control about your partner and your, you know, intimacy and orgasms, okay? Yeah, you know, I just think that, you know, the result of all this illusion that they've been under, has, you know, filled them with a lot of inner criticism and doubt. I'm getting that they're just, you know, this situation has gotten out of control because they have been so aggressive, fighting and attacking. You know, they hate to see you doing your taxes or something like that, or they hate to see you doing some type of financial literacy. They hate to see you doing some type of financial management. They hate to see you getting support from others. They hate to see you, you know, I'm also, yeah, your rituals through the 8th house as well, like your prayer rituals, your meditation rituals, your yoga, you know, and they just get, and they see that, like, as you make more progress, you know, you're taking, you know, those leaps of faith forward, and that just leaves them with no desire and no financial support, and they just, everyone's just bored with their lack and how unfortunate they have been to been under this matrix illusion. Okay. Yeah, super imbalanced relationships. They can't, like, you know what I'm saying, how you're currently triggering others. You know, the people who are getting triggered are the really, really imbalanced relationships. It's like, I'm getting people who fought for a lot of power, but they were really a matrix illusion, and they really got like a lot of emotional stagnation. They really got a lot of blanks. They didn't get the results that they thought that they were going to get. They didn't get the same results as you because they were oblivious to something. And everybody's just like the 4 of Cups, LOL. Yeah. And yeah, they just see, they're mad about you just hitting another milestone. It's like they know that you've hit another milestone, but I also feel like this is also someone who has been, could be an ex. I'm hearing their ex-partner has been, you know, the imbalanced relationship that they have been projecting their pain and shame and hurt onto. And they see that you guys have really, you've hit another milestone, or you've hit another milestone in resolving this imbalance because of this ex-partner who can't take rejection and move on with their life. Okay. They're triggered because they see you creative and inspired to take action, and you've just hit a milestone in resolving a problem that you've had in your partnership and alliance. That's what I'm saying, Pile 1, about how you're currently triggering others. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your selection. So you chose ANDALEEB. Let's get into it. How are you currently triggering this person or others? Okay. Pile 1, how are you currently triggering others? Okay. Let's get into it. Pile 1 was so good. Okay. So, how are you currently triggering others? Okay. Workaholic. You know what? That's funny because that kind of piggybacks off of Pile 1 a little bit. But people see you working your ass off. They see you work all day and all night. They see, I'm hearing that because you have the ick about something. Okay, some of y'all didn't know that you have the ick about something, and you're working so hard to get away from something that's been giving you the ick is what I'm hearing. Okay. LOL, I'm hearing something where you're working hard to create something, or you're working hard to, I'm hearing you're about to cross a finish line and you've been working and grinding it out is what I'm hearing. And this is very triggering to see you working so much because you, I mean, then they know that you'll be, you know, you're persistent and consistent enough to get to your intended target. I'm also getting that, especially if it involves art and creative, like something creative, that is really triggering to people because a lot of these people don't have the privilege of art, or they don't have, you know, they don't have any artwork to be done. They don't have anything to create. And when they see you working, it's triggering. It's like something like, it's kind of like going to the gym, right? And you walk in, you start your workout routine, and then you look up, everybody on their phone. Everybody just looking around, and people, that's triggering to see you working so hard. Like, they be like, what are you working so hard for? Like, why can't you just be a conformist and be on your phone like me and just pretend and take selfies at the gym instead of, you know, I don't have time for that. I came here to get a workout in, and I only have about, you know, an hour and a half to do so. Okay? LOL. I mean, something about you, friend, when they see you working, they know you're strictly business. I'm hearing they're seeing you racing up some stairs or something like that, or they're seeing you walking around around the office fast, or they see you typing fast, they see you working all day long. And then it led to another milestone, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing you just recently hit more milestones. Perhaps some of you guys just, you know, gained some more followers, or you hit a new milestone around your followers or something like that. We have rejection and maturing. Okay. How are you currently triggering others? Okay. These could be people that you rejected. Okay, is what I'm hearing. Or these could be the ex-partners. You know, the ex-partners, they know that, you know, you working so hard, or you're working to get ready for something. And, you know, that means like somebody, I don't know, that means that you're getting ready for something. Or, this could be that, you know, this is an ex-partner who's getting rejected because you were the chosen one, I'm hearing, or you're divine feminine energy. And this rejection is inevitable. Even if they weren't with you, they're still not going to be with them, is what I'm hearing. LOL. So yeah, okay. I'm also getting that, you know, people who saw that you were working a lot, they may have rejected you. Okay, I'm hearing a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. Maybe, you know, someone saw you getting up. You know, maybe this is someone, these were roommates or somebody that you shared a living situation with. The reason why you get rejected is because people hate to see you working so hard. And that you have a goal that you want to accomplish. People who reject you for working hard are truly envious of your work ethic. You know, and they truly are an enemy, because, you know, if they reject you, that means that they don't want to support you. That means that they don't want you to meet your goals. They don't want you to have a future. Some of them, you know, they're very triggered by your education and degree and how hard you've worked for it, is what I'm hearing. I'm getting that a lot of people, you know, will try to give you rejections because, like, you will get rejected because they will never say this, but the shadow aspect is people who are envious of your degree, envious of your career, in your education, and your study, the things that you work on. They know that, you know, it'll mean that you'll be successful. That means that they are not successful and that they don't want you to be successful, okay? They might try to reject you for some other type of reason, or they might leave you in a situation, you know, they might do something covert, okay, or obscure, and you are very psychic and intuitive. They might not be forthright about forthcoming about the rejection, but it's always a situation that forces you to mature, and it delays you because of, like, something that may prevent you from getting clarity, or something that prevents you from seeing, you know, something duplicitous within them, is what I'm hearing, okay? And when they see you working, they know that means that you're going to get closer and closer to maturing a rejection, recovering from a rejection, moving on, right? You know, some of them, they reject you, and, you know, because they want you to be a failure, or just that they're just a failure. And some of you guys, you know, they hate the fact that they hate the fact that you're educated and working, okay? That's very strange. Like, you know, especially if you're a black girl, black girls with an education and trying to, you know, have a better life and trying to embrace, you know, their human and civil rights to pursue their happiness and get financial freedom, are rejected so much. And a lot of it is covert. A lot of it is bigotry. A lot of it is a plotting against black girls. There's a lot of plotting against black girls. There's a lot of, subversive activities towards black girls who are educated and work really hard, because that means that black girl's a star and that she will not be inhibited by, societal oppression. So yeah, I'm getting that, the reason why you are, it's like, I don't know, something where how you're triggering others. This is how you're triggering others. It's how you're handling a rejection. Maybe you're working even more, after, getting rejected, because you know that the rejection is simply somebody not wanting you to be successful. You know that it's because they're really envious of your degree and they don't want you to, your knowledge to be displayed. a lot of them, they started committing fraud. Maybe they started to do something. I'm hearing something where they started to access video surveillance. I'm hearing they may have done, there was a situation where someone was watching you on a camera, something where they may have violated your HIPAA rights. Some of them, they may have violated your human and civil rights, may have inhibited freedom of speech. These people have been doing, they've been doing, this rejection is not just a no, but it's actually an obstruction of your rights as well, is what I'm hearing, okay? They were just mad because you were raw as hell. We have the 4th house, yeah. We have the 12th house, yeah. And they're really a failure, an invisible enemy, okay? A lot of them, they want you to internalize a rejection around their body image, around your body image, but it's really because these people hate you for being pretty and hardworking. They really hate you for being pretty and hardworking. They hate you, the way that you've been working so hard to lay a foundation. They hate that you're grounding and you're at the finish line to building some type of foundation or a home. They know that you're putting down roots, getting ready to retire. They're triggered by how you've coped with your adversities and sorrows. They know that a lot of it has been, rejections have been invisible enemies, to be truthfully honest. And a lot of you guys have been confronted with a lot of sorrow and suffering with these people who have been keeping secrets, haven't been wanting you to have closure. I'm also getting that, there are some people who may have been, having a clandestine affair. There have been hidden aspects, okay, around you. And, people attacking your resting place. Like, they're really obsessed with your home and your sanctuary because it's not their home. Their home is not as great because they didn't work as hard, is what I'm hearing. Especially like other black girls who don't have a nice home or they don't have an education. They're just like sitting there looking like a piece of trash, living in a dump piece of shit, while you have this sanctuary, right? So a lot of these people, they will want to cause endings for you, right? They want your home to end. They want your relationships to end. You'll have a lot of invisible enemies sitting around watching you work your ass off for this home, okay? And honestly, don't fucking stop working, because there's so many people sitting back in a shadow attachment that don't want you to have closure. They don't want you to secure this foundation. They don't want you to have, I'm hearing a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Somebody's name starts with letter Q, Z, or A. They will choose weaker and less fortunate people. They will reject you for anybody else, honey, because you're so pretty and hardworking. It's like, as soon as I'm hearing somebody saw your resume, or they saw that you were smarter than them and they rejected you, right? You may have even shared a home with this person, or that you may have even started building some type of, foundation with this person, or collaborating with them in some type of way. But this person, they rejected you because you were working too much. It's like something where you were working too much and they got rejected. And they just felt like, they were like, oh, I just still need to master myself. And I feel like a lot of this isn't personal. A lot of them, after growing an awareness around something, it's just that a lot of them, you make them feel like a really, really big failure. So they will, the reason why they reject you, honey, is because they're really rejected. Okay, they're really rejected and abandoned. They're really a failure. Especially the ones living in a piece of shit, or they just are not like, they don't have a, resting place. They don't have a sanctuary. They don't have a nice life at home, is what I'm hearing. Some of them, they just are going broke, or they don't have enough medical attention. Some of them, they don't have enough groceries in the refrigerator. They don't have enough food. Some of them, they don't have a degree or an education to study anything. So they just sit around watching you study and work your ass off. They're watching your investment. They're watching what you've worked for your whole life. They're literally watching what you've worked for your whole life, and how it's culminated into this through the 4th house as a final resting place. They've seen you become one with the earth, and how you were able to form a structure around what you were studying and what you were what you were trying to conceptualize. It's like something where you may have even had a big vision, and they see you work so hard to make it a success, and now it's becoming a success, and it's, you know, providing you a home, a sanctuary, a final resting place, retirement plans for you and your family. Like, you're such, through the 12th house, you're such a success, and they're such a failure. Anybody who rejected you are just, you know, don't let them try to conceal anything with, you know, some type of secret, clandestine affair, covert behavior. The reason why they rejected you is because they're really rejected and abandoned. They're really a failure. And a lot of them, they rejected you because you were pretty, and they had a poor self-image. You know, they wanted you to take an L because they didn't want to see someone pretty in power, is what I'm hearing. They didn't want to see someone pretty in a house. Pretty girls in their homes and families and marriages are getting attacked by weaker and less fortunate people. So you always wondering why, you know, the beautiful dime piece that's sitting up in the castle is having to share her man with a gremlin. It's because they literally don't know how to take rejection, and they're getting forced into a dynamic with an invisible enemy trying to steal sex, money, power, affection, and anything else that they feel that they lack from the pretty girl that's sitting in a house, that's educated and worked hard to be a high value partner to someone. You know, some of them, if these are romantic partners that are rejecting you, they're just failures, and they want to, especially some of them, they want, especially if they started body typing you, gossiping, or did something catty to conform, they were really just envious of your pretty education and knowledge, and just like how all of that represents like a major success, like you're a full package and everything anybody could ever want. So some of them, they just were losers, conventions. They are not successful at anything. They don't have an education, or they're just a privilege, or they're just lame. They don't have a resting place, or some of them, they feel that you're older than them, and they feel like you're just so wise and mature and so, you know, wealthy and successful at a young age, and this triggers them as well. So, you know, a lot of that, I hope that made sense. I kind of got ran on with that sentence for a little bit, but what I really want to say is that, like, a lot of these people, they will try to make you internalize something around your body image or around your beauty when they're really rejecting you because they're envious of your beauty. Even lovers, you know, they project onto your beauty or make you a problem in a very, you know, outrageous way. Okay, so let's wrap. How are you currently triggering others, pal, too? How are you currently triggering others? How to? They're mad because you raw as hell, and that, you know, especially if you're a black girl, of course you raw as hell. You know what I mean? Like, they're very mad about that. Very mad about your body, honey. Okay, the way that fat ass just from birth, like you didn't have to go to the gym for it, or something like that. You know, something where you just, you know, your body tea, okay, or the way your body matures. Some of them, these are people, you know, how you're triggering others. You know, these are people in the past who may have body shamed you, body typed you, did some slandered your name in the past, and then they watch your body mature over time, and that ass sitting up fatter than a Hema truck. Okay, so, you know, they real pissed about that. They're really triggered to see how your body matured. Like, they're like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting your body to look like that. Some of them, they thought you were going to be a loser, or they thought you were going to be ugly, or they thought that was like, you know, they rejected you because they were trying to, like, you know, be shallow Hal in this bitch. And they really were deluded because they're really a 4 out of 10. It's like something where an ugly ass motherfucker tried to body type you, and then you let them know your wife is ugly, your life is ugly, you'll never bag me or touch me. And now some of them, they may have rejected you when you were dealing with the illness, mental health issues, or struggling with, you know, some type of health related issue that may have been affecting your physical body. And then they see you mature, conquer that, get rejected. But that was the empowerment that you needed to, like, handle that body image issue. And now they seeing that body and that ass sitting up, and they're very, very, like, triggered by your body in the way that it matured, especially the ones who rejected you, to, like, because they may have thought that somebody body looked better than yours, right? And then They just watched you, you know, some of them, you know, they wanted you to internalize this rejection around your beauty. They didn't want you to feel good enough to have security and have a home. They didn't want you to feel worthy enough to have a home. They wanted you to be homeless. They wanted you to be suffering. They wanted you to be, you know, they wanted you, you know, your body not to get honored, okay? They wanted you to, like, they wanted you, you know, they didn't want your pretty ass body on display. Or some of them, they watched you enhance yourself after getting rejected, and now your body is on display, is what I'm hearing. Or you just left them coping with a failure after you left. Okay, it's like something where you worked so fucking hard on that body, or you worked so hard after you realized that they were envious of your beauty, and they wanted to cause you sorrow because you were pretty. They wanted to destroy your home because you were pretty and had a pretty life and pretty values, and it didn't reflect the superficial value that they wanted to uphold. They didn't want your home to be commercialized because it would show people that black women are not some like Jezebel food stamp queen, that is actually a reflection of a high spiritual value and a deep spiritual system that has a deep perspective. Like, they didn't want your, like, they were triggered, especially if some of you guys are going commercial. They're triggered because they see that your deep spiritual values are penetrating, and that they couldn't uphold this spiritual system that didn't serve us, and they rejected you. And you just worked your ass off to make it a success. Okay, that's why they triggered it, because they couldn't do shit to stop your home. Right? They wanted you to feel bad about yourself. They didn't want you to have security. They were really, you know, attacking your solar plexus, and your root chakra, your body image, and your home, your sense of security, your ability to build a home, to have shelter, you know, food and water. They wanted you to be in sorrow, child. Okay. So let's wrap. The King of Wands in the reverse. Okay, yeah, I'm getting that you got rejected by somebody who were just, you know, they were very indecisive about what kind of relationship they wanted. Some of them, they know that it meant that they needed to reject their ex that kept coming back. And I'm hearing their ex keeps coming back and trying to, like, see something, or they can sense when they're moving on. Like, somebody has a codependency on this person. Okay. And they know that they will be getting rejected, but because you were hotter, prettier, smarter, had a better life, they're just like, oh, I'm not sure what kind of relationship I want. Oh, I'm not sure if I want people to see your beauty and brains, and, you know, that will make my ex uncomfortable. Or, you know, black people, we just, we don't want people to know the truth about black people. Oh, we don't want them to know that, you know, all this oppression and all this, you know, racism is covert and subversive, and we don't want them, you know, them to be educated and have a self-awareness. I'm not sure what kind of relationship I want. Oh, you're a nice black girl. You're not the Jezebel EBT queen that we're used to. Oh, you have an education. Oh, fuck you. Oh, let me work my ass off and show you that you can't stop shit around here. That's why they triggered. Interesting. Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands. You know, I definitely feel like they are, you know, releasing their defenses, but I feel like after all of this, you kind of just canceled them. Like, you're not really, you know, interested in this person anymore, or, you know, they were really, like, I'm hearing that they just kept feeling, you know, I don't know, they kept feeling like they needed to empower these weaker and less fortunate people because, oh, your beauty makes everyone uncomfortable. Okay, if you want to, I'm getting that the people who are triggered by you are the people who folded on their beliefs and folded on the true meaning that you found with one another, and became boorish, became stagnant, dry, and things dried up with them really quickly when they couldn't honor you. And this showed you that they were an enemy also, or that they were buying into the conflict of the enemy, or appealing to the weaker and less fortunate person to, I'm hearing something where to, you know, to put their financial gain, to prioritize their financial gain. Okay. I'm getting that this person really doesn't give a fuck about either side of the conflict, honestly. But you know, a lot of them, they may, you know, because you're so pretty, they know that so many people will hate you, and that actually is a liability. It's like something where, you know, following you will make them lose a lot because so many people will hate them for honoring your beauty, okay? And they're just, you know, a lot of them, they need to, you know, personally release some, you know, defenses and things like that. But a lot of them, you know, this is a cycle where they are releasing releasing defenses, or they're impulsively behaving to cope with a failure, okay, or something like that. I think that, you know, this person, things are kind of just like, it's like something where you may have, when you found out that they were still tied and tethered to an ex, or that they were confused about, you know, honoring you, or they had you know, a challenge, a real challenge, a real struggle honoring you, because there were so many people that were triggered by your foundation, and like something where you guys built a foundation. You literally built a foundation with somebody, built wealth with somebody, had securities with somebody, and they started to, like, they may have failed, and it may have been an ending because they folded on your shared belief system. They folded and did not, you know, they were not able to defend your foundation. They were not able to defend your home and family, you know, from an ex or from these enemies that, you know, were trying to stop you guys. I'm also getting that a lot of this could be happening on a subconscious level, and they're just releasing, like I said, this could be a cycle where they're releasing defenses. And, you know, this is going to help them feel more inspired to take an action towards you. With the Eight of Wands, I definitely see them, you know, this is a cycle where they need to maybe go work through something subconscious with, you know, some unseen realms, some unseen enemies, you know, their plight, the struggle of the masses, the unconscious grippings, their own, you know, projection of their rejection issues. This is a lot of what is happening, is that, you know, them being in this liminal realm is actually like forcing you to work so much. And I think that they're folding, and you're like moving on and working so hard to like move away from them. And it's like you were still a failure even after they folded on the foundation, and like they folded in protecting the foundation that you guys had together. But I'm hearing that all is fair in this situation. They were allowed to shift their perspective, or they were allowed to, you know what I'm saying, they were allowed to switch team. I'm hearing some of them turned into an enemy, and you're just like, well, you're just another bag for me to chase now. I'm hearing something where they're just more money, because some of you, if they folded, some of you, this involves like them not honoring a contract, or there being some legal consequences, and that you'll get your wish fulfillment in this situation either way. Like, this is a situation where you get justice. It's not a situation where, this is not an ending where you're left with the short end of the stick. This is an ending where you're just like, things fizzled out between us after all of the fighting and attacking, and you were not able to defend our foundation and home. You were not a success. You were not able to like, man, they were not able to decide something. They were not able to decide something, especially if it involved giving, you know, other people rejections, giving an ex a rejection. Some of them chose lust instead of true love, which meant that they were really just lacking closure from this whole fight that went on, this whole hardship that occurred. There are actually so many people who are rendered failures in this situation. And so, like, they just became a part of them, like memorial service, or they just became a failure along with them, because they were not able to defend. And you just matured and realized that they were just emotionally immature, and they were not able to honor their family and ancestry through the fourth house. They were like, you were their family and ancestry, and they just folded on you know, folded on and we're not able to defend it because, you know, and I'm hearing that you may not have been aware of what was going on because a lot of these people who have been attacking them, you know, have been your invisible enemy, right? And they just have been projecting their failures onto your relationship and your home, and your person has been feeling overly obligated and burdened by their fighting and attacking that has literally nothing to do with y'all. But that's what I'm seeing, Pal 2, about, you know, how you're currently triggering others. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Last but not least, hi Pal 3, welcome to your selection. So you chose Viva La Juicy by Juicy Couture. So let's hop into it. Why are your haters triggered? Okay, how are people currently triggered? How are you currently triggering others, Pal 3? How are you currently triggering others? Okay. Perfection. Oh shit. I'm hearing completion. You laid a bitch to rest and you did it perfectly. Soulmate energy. I'm also hearing that whatever happened for you happened in perfect divine timing. This is, you know, these are people who are watching you very closely. These are people who are really tethered to what you're doing. So the way I'm hearing something where the way that you speak is perfect as well. I'm hearing proper English, proper grammar, very high analytical, conscious, written in oral speech. They see you as perfect. I don't know why they do, but they see everything that you do is perfect. They see that you are, and it's because you go with the flow. Like, you're triggered. People are triggered by the way that you're just trusting and that you go with the flow and that everything aligns so perfectly. They see that everything happened in perfectly divine timing, that something was perfect for you. I don't know what this was, but something was perfect, and that was very triggering. They were really, you know, that triggered them a lot, how something unfolded for you in a perfect way, okay? Or your delivery around something was perfect. Your executions are perfect, and they just look like people who can never plan anything right, or they're very awkward and just inopportune and boorish in a way as well. Your expression in a way that it's like something where they see you as having a powerful expression. Maybe you're speaking a lot, like I said, that's very triggering. The way that you speak is perfectly, you have a very clear communication that is direct, and you you say exactly what you mean, and you don't leave any room for misinterpretation, especially strangers who like to, I'm hearing like a lot of strangers or people that you don't really know or never really talk to, they imagine things that you say, and it's like, no, I didn't say that. No, I didn't do that. Stop projecting your issues onto me. I said something very clear. I did something very clear. How about you take responsibility and show up fully engaged? You're clearly not connected to reality because you're sitting there getting triggered by someone who's being very clear and direct. What? Are you dumb or dumber? It's like something where they try to misconstrue something, and you're like perfect. You have perfect speech and communication. You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, a lot of these people, they will literally, the reason why they're triggered is because like you don't leave, like, you have a perfect, like, you're very exact, okay? You're very exact. And so, you know, they will try, because of their, you know, their lack of responsibility and accountability, they will try to make a lot of, you know, they will try to make a lot of excuses, or they'll try to, I don't know, they'll try to misconstrue, or they'll try to twist your words or twist your behavior and cause a matrix illusion. And you're just like, no, that's not what happened. That's not what we said. And that's not what's going on. Not in this lifetime. You delusional piece of shit. These people who are triggered are people who cannot be connected to reality because they're not empowered enough to hear what you said fully and correctly. These are people who have a really, really bad projection issue with you. It's always something that you're doing, but it's never, like, they never, especially strangers, it's like weird. I don't know you. We don't know you. It's not something that I'm doing because I've never seen you before, done anything to you. No, you know, you initiated a conversation with me, or you started stalking me. It's like a lot of the reality has incontrovertible evidence, yet they will still make up some type of diluted, they will drum up some type of delusion from their imaginal realm to misconstrue something that you've said perfectly or done perfectly. And this is why they're so triggered, because really they want to try to criticize or find a flaw, but there's no backlash, there's no back talk, there's no rebuttal. There's just the facts of the matter, and your reality is extremely contradictory. That's why they're triggered, right? And they know that you're right and that you're on path because things aligned perfectly, okay? Something aligned perfectly, and that's very triggering to a dumbass bitch. We have vulnerability and empathy, okay? So definitely the jelly team is clearly envious, clearly triggered. The jelly team is always going to be triggered, okay? Somebody's name starts with the letter M, or this person could be a Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, Scorpio. I'm also getting that this could be someone that has a spiritual aesthetic, or this person could be a tarot reader. Something, you know, you have empathy for somebody, okay? But the person that you're triggering is the person who had an altered intuition. Your wish fulfillment, emotional satisfaction, and how everything aligned perfectly for you in divine timing shows that this was an inevitable ending. Friend, this makes this person feel very vulnerable. Things aligning for you perfectly. I don't know what's exactly happening for you, but it's like something where you're reaching the peak, or you're reaching a peak performance, peak stage of your career. You're reaching the highest level. You're literally, I'm hearing something where your achievement is of the highest honor, and they see that how you've done this was perfect. Okay, how you got to this point was perfect, and it makes them feel very vulnerable because they feel like they were delusional. They really were delusional to have been in this one-sided conflict with you, or to have been on the jelly team. Like, they're jealous of your peak performance. They're jealous of your peak career, okay? We have the letter W. Yeah, this rewards and recognition. You know, highest honor, travel or movement, okay? Something where, you know, somebody saw you with beauty and brains, a big butt, and the letter H, LOL. You know, so these could be really old people is what I'm hearing. You know, they're watching you get rewards and recognition after making a big movement, okay? I'm hearing you moved out of a house, you moved away from these people, you left them in a scarcity, you left them looking dumb as hell. It's like something where you left people who, I'm hearing something where they may have been your financial support or support in the past, or you may have just, like, you know, they were not expecting you. I don't know, something where, you know, they were not expecting you, or they were not expecting you to be so high honor and to have all this intelligence. And something happened after you, like, the reason why they're triggered is because they were the jelly team. I'm hearing they turned it to the jelly team because when they saw your beauty and brains, your big butt, your rewards and recognition, they were reminded of just how much of a failure they really were. You were very empathetic with these people, especially if they were old, sick, just unwanted, unattractive, unemployed, and you're just sitting around with this big booty getting, you know, the highest honor, right? Some of them, you know, the reason why you're triggering them is because they see that you have this perfect life. Like, they really feel like your life is perfect. Especially some of you, you moved away from these people, or they forced you to move, they forced you to travel, and they thought that this was going to obstruct your rewards and recognition. And they literally seen that your movement was perfect, that it was divinely aligned, that it was gracefully done, that you were literally just like it was perfectly aligned, and that they thought that they were going to take you through a hardship, but really you ended up getting more rewards and recognition. You end up, your booty, they see your booty get bigger, or they were literally just forced to watch your rewards and recognition after they joined the jelly team. Like something where you were like, you were very empathetic towards these people though. Like you knew that they were going to be triggered by your big booty, beauty and brains, rewards and recognition, because they're just a regular, degular, conventional failure, systemic failure in the matrix, right? Some of these people, you just were using them, or you just had an ulterior motive. You didn't plan on caring for them. You didn't plan on getting, involved, and they just, you ended up, getting vulnerable with them, and ended up having a lot of empathy for them. But I think that, the feeling was not mutual, because they were just too triggered and envious of your, big booty and rewards and recognition. Okay. I feel like a lot of you guys were a service to these people, because you just came around and endowed them with so much. I'm hearing something where you were truly a blessing coming around. But when they saw that you had rewards and recognition, they forced you to move, is what I'm hearing, because they wanted to, like, their shadow aspect. Someone's name is Willie or Helen, Chloe or something like that. When they saw that you had rewards and recognition around your beauty and body, they became so angry, because especially if they were black, they don't want like another black person being successful. Some of them, they were really old and unsuccessful, or they just, they wanted to stop you from using their resources so that you would not be successful. That was their shadow pain and shame, and you knew that it was because they were old, or that they were just failures, or that they clearly don't have beauty, don't have brains, don't have a big butt, don't have rewards to record. They literally didn't have shit, is what I'm hearing. And so you were very empathetic towards them, and you understand that a lot of them were systemic failures. LOL. So, they're really triggered because they see that your movement and travel was uninhibited. It's like you didn't stop. I'm hearing all you did was level up. All you did was get more rewards and recognition. And they're just sitting there anxious about your life, right? Some of them, they were trying to get you in trouble with the law, and now the tables are turning, because some of them, you are persecuting them, okay, for some type of fraud, or they clearly didn't get, away with that. They clearly were not successful in inhibiting your movement or committing a crime or fraud against you. And so they were really triggered that you were, that they got, that the truth came out, that they were really trying to stop your movement, because they were such a failure at life, so lacking rewards, so lacking recognition, so lacking of a nice body, so lacking of beauty, so lacking of brains, and you just seem like this perfect person. And so that was very triggering to them. Okay, very triggering to this 4 out of 10 that they settled for. So triggering to their inability to move. So triggering by their big and out of shape, obese, grown out of form body, genetically modified organisms, eating all the hot Cheetos and, Junior Whoppers from the Burger King. Like, they were so triggered by your beautiful, pretty, perfect life. And so, especially if these were black people, they really wanted you to, like, be left behind. They wanted you to become a systemic failure. Some of them started to call the law, started to call the police, because they thought that they were going to, like, get you caught up in the system, so that you would be a failure like them, so that you would stop having rewards and recognition, so that you would stop taking care of yourself, so you didn't have this big booty and beauty, and so that you weren't able to share your brains and intelligence. And they just see that things just happen for you perfectly after they tried to, like, obstruct you. It's like something where you kept getting off scot-free, you never got caught, is what I'm hearing. They were very stressed about this, because I'm hearing every time that they tried to obstruct your movement, you outsmarted them. Okay, I'm hearing something where you outsmarted them, and they were just stressed, stalking you from a fake social media account, like watching your rewards and recognition, watching, the God and the universe unfold and open another door for you. And they were just so stressed about your movement. And it's like, that's so strange that they became stressed about somebody else's life, like, to want to stop them from moving, or try to stop them from having rewards and recognition. Like, what evil, I'm hearing that these were literally evil spirits. Like they were literally zombies in the apocalyptic matrix illusion that's just walking around with all of the endowed, fortunate star seeds that's just trying to like live, right? And they were just like such failures. They were just an evil spirit. I'm hearing that they were literally zombies, okay? And that's why they were so triggered by your perfect life, right? Your headbands and your robe. I'm hearing your robe and your fruit. Something about your fruit. They were very triggered by your fruit or your food and how you, I'm hearing how you stored things in the kitchen. Some of them, they were very obsessed with your home kitchenware, okay? And they saw you get a lot of rewards and recognition around your home or your kitchenware, or they were really like, they wanted to stop you from using a resource that you were getting rewards and recognition around, but you just, I'm hearing something where you ended up like finding a resolution to that and kept moving anyway. I'm hearing something where you kept moving, and I'm hearing like something where you were too smart, like you were too smart, you outsmarted them. I'm hearing you talked your way. You may have talked your way out of a crime, or you were able to defend yourself in court or something like that. Like it's something where you showed too much intelligence and they just thought that they like something where they became an enemy, public enemy number one, and started to they started to attack you for, you know, to stop you from getting rewards and recognition because they knew that you were on track to like high honor. Like they know that you're high honor, okay? But you know, you were empathetic because like, you know, it was weird and strange, and you may have been like, oh my God, like I've never seen a zombie in real life, and like they were real life zombies, like they were real life evil spirits, like they were empty vessels, they were just at the South Node fit, like, you know, in a grave. I'm hearing something where you may have found them and they were almost dead or something like that, or they were just like their life is over, they don't have a good quality of life, and your life seemed perfect to them, okay? I'm hearing that this situation actually got very vulnerable, but they joined the jelly team because they became too prideful around your high honor, okay? They felt like such a failure. They couldn't even, I'm hearing something where they couldn't even face you anymore, okay? I'm hearing a lot of men, okay, men who, you know, you moved on from them, and after they got wind of your perfect life, they were fucking pissed, okay? They were pissed. About that. LOL, justice. Okay. Page of Pentacles. And then the Two of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, this person is so unstable behind the scenes. It's like you came into their life and you were like this Page of Pentacles, and this justice that was fair, compassionate, focused on your goals, and they knew that you were focused on getting more rewards and recognition, and that made them really unstable. You know, even if I'm hearing something where they loved you, they may have loved you, but they became like, it became obsessive attachment, you know, shadow attachment, pain and shame. Because they decide, I'm hearing that they were the Queen of Wands in the reverse. They started having emotional fulfillment with your opposition. They started to find emotional fulfillment with an opposition or someone who shrank in comparison to you because you were too perfect, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing something where you were too perfect, and they're just behind the scenes, super unstable and triggered by your perfect ass life. Your rewards, I'm hearing the way that you're rewarded and recognized is also divinely aligned as well, and your movement is so seamless, and so you were just, I'm hearing through phases and cycles, you kept moving away from this person, and it's helped you realize and grow in discernment around how triggered they were. And you were very, you know, you viewed them with a lot of compassion and justice, a lot of, you know, I'm hearing that this was a vulnerable situation, but I'm getting that they offered a lot of perspective, but it's not a situation that you need to invest in anymore, okay? So, you know, this person is something where they are very unstable behind the scenes. I'm getting that the reason why they're triggered is because you're leaving them behind. The reason why they're triggered is because their role is shrinking. Where before, you know, this vulnerable union with someone or whoever this person, you know, this vulnerable union led to them, you know, I don't know, something where you guys were pulled apart, or, you know, they grew defensive you know, in this vulnerable state, and they joined the jelly team, or they went to go try to prop up their ego. You know, you as a high priest, right, you know that this is what they're doing. I'm hearing something where they were behind the scenes going around, they were so obsessed with you, whoever this is. Like, this could be a romantic partner, but this could also just be like some random person, or some person in an association or network or group, a place that you visit or frequent often. It's like something, but I feel like a lot of this were men. They joined the jelly team because they were so unstable. Like, they were so defensive and unstable around what vulnerabilities were shared. Okay, it really challenged them and challenged their sense of security, because before, it's like your perfect ass life helped them realize like what their life was really like before you got there. Like, something that was like something before you met this person, or before they saw your perfect life, they may have been very vulnerable, or they may have been, you know what I'm saying, they may have been all for it, right, all supportive, right, but as soon as they realized that you were a big booty with beauty and rewards and recognition, they became so aggressive, and they hated the fact that you knew everything, that you were very tapped into their vulnerabilities and their emotional weakness and emotional insecurity, and they just grew more and more defensive, comparing themselves to you. I'm hearing even a man, as a man, friend, as a man, they were like, especially, like they were, and if this is the opposing gender especially, they were really triggered by how, how vulnerable you made them feel, because you were so strong and successful, and they were so vulnerable and weak. And a lot of people do this. A lot of misfortunate people, a lot of delusional people will sit around and caddy up with people to try to bully you, or to try to I'm getting that these are people who became catty, or they became aggressive or attacking. They tried to, like, I'm hearing, bullies ganging up to try to take you down, okay? And, this may have been a man that was your partner that joined in with people who were trying to plot your downfall, get you in trouble with the law, or to just literally try to stop your movement in some type of way. But yeah, so I think that what really happened is that, like, they, seeing how perfect you turned out emasculated them. They were really, really emasculated. And this may have even been somebody that you had multiple rounds with, or somebody that you felt like you couldn't get enough of. But I'm hearing that they were very unstable about this relationship because it challenged their sense of security. They thought that they would have the power and the control. They thought that they would be, you emasculated them when you showed them your brains and your rewards and recognition, and why you had the position of power that you had, why you were behaving a certain type of way, is what I'm hearing, or why, or they just didn't feel safe being vulnerable anymore. It's like they want to prop up an ego complex, or they want to appear strong, or they don't, they wanted to go with someone who didn't see their vulnerabilities. They feel very exposed and very intimidated. And I think, that a lot of, why they're triggered is because, they ultimately wanted to stop you from moving. Some of it is that they just wanted to have you in a place where they can control you, right? If they could stop you from getting money, if they can stop you from getting rewards and recognition, then you wouldn't, like, if they can stop you from focusing on your goals, if they can make you as unstable, then that would give them more control over you and more time with you. But when they didn't have that kind of, when you exacted your autonomy, they grew aggressive. They knew that you guys had this vulnerable union. Some of you, they knew that you were the one for them, but they chose to hide who they really were, and project something egoic. May have even started talking about you, gossiping, did something catty. Some of them tried to replace you. There was a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm here. If you would have seen this person, if you were a fly on the wall, you would have seen that this person was completely losing and becoming unhinged, losing their mind and becoming unhinged around what they perceived as a perfect movement and a perfect ass life that they tried to, obstruct. They felt like they were powerless, and this is why this is why they were so triggered. it's like, especially I'm hearing a man, they're very triggered by your ass, and that like you're a fine fox on the loose. They're very triggered by your ass being big, or that you're just out here living this perfect life. Like, how do you have all that beauty and brains and a fat ass and you're getting rewarded for it? It pissed them off. But this was all a reflection of your focus, goal setting, and determination. And they were just unstable, and felt too vulnerable, and felt like such a failure. I think what happened, right? A lot of them threw an emotional tantrum and joined the jelly team, and started to like go around and try to replace you, or they were literally looking for you in people. They were desperate to like find aspects of you within people. And some of them, they became so desperate that they teamed up with your enemy, somebody who was projecting you. Literally, they chose someone who shrinks next to you. Like, and the reason why they shrink next to you is because they're literally pretending to be you. Like, how strange is that, to be waltzing around in an imaginary relationship, in a relationship, imagining something. Like, they were imagining that it was you. Some of them, if they were going off to have other sexual unions and stuff like that, they were literally pretending that it was you. Or that they were just trying to get off, or they were just, they just felt too rejected and abandoned, too vulnerable. Became envious themselves, right? Men become envious of your perfect life, and that you get everything that you want, and that was very triggering to them, and they threw like an emotional tantrum. And this was like a masculine that was an enemy, is what I'm hearing, that wanted to like get you, like wanted to obstruct justice, wanted to like get you in trouble with the law, wanted to empower your enemy, wanted to stop you from focusing on your goals, wanted to stop you from taking care of yourself. But the tables turned. They were the ones that were not able to move forward. They were the ones that didn't have any goals to focus on. They were the ones pretending with these, shrinking violets. They were the ones that was desperate to try to find a replacement for you. Some of them, they literally tried to like replace you, or they started to like give your money to somebody else, because they tried to like have somebody, they were trying to like recreate this vulnerable union that they had with you, right? But they wanted this vulnerable union and something that was less intimidating than you. And that was like so weird and strange, that you would go pretend, like that you would be so delusional to like imagine a vulnerability with somebody, imagine an intimacy. Like, they were literally imagining intimacy, imagining that these people were like caring about them, imagining that they had nurturing, sensitive, and caring relationships like they had with you, imagining that they were beauty and brains, imagining, right? Some of them didn't have a big booty, some of them were obese, aggressive, ugly, and they were literally just like, oh, I'm just gonna stay here because I feel too emasculated after seeing your perfect life. They became very unstable and unhinged, trying to replace this vulnerable, deep intimacy that could not be compared to, like, especially like I'm hearing you were the divine feminine, and some of them, they were a deliberate, disloyal loser and chose to shrink. And they thought that their behavior was going to stop you. They thought that you were coming back, that you would stop, that you would, just, I don't know, something where they were like, they had a internal struggle. It's like they had a lot of emotions. They may have had deep feelings for you, but they chose to hide those feelings because they felt, they were too disempowered, or they were too intimidated after seeing your perfect life. They felt that they can never be good enough, or something like that. And I think that you had a lot of empathy for them, but they were just, they were too. They turned jelly themselves, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the men turned jealous, okay, after having a vulnerable and intimate union. That was weird, right? So scary to be like having to fight men. Like, you literally have to watch out for men now, especially black men. Black men who are strangers, especially the ones that don't look like they have employment, or any kind of objective agenda. They will project a lot of dangerous things, okay? And they will not be able to hold themselves accountable watching your fat ass and beauty, working hard to, be successful, when they see you, even if these are strangers, men, I'm hearing that they will see you and they see you as perfect. They know that you're getting rewarded. They know that you're getting recognized. Something where they're watching your hands, or they're watching, they're seeing that you have beautiful hands or beautiful feet. Like, these are people, strangers who, as soon as you walk by them, their eyes dart to your feet and hands to see how you care for yourself, to see if you're getting rewards and getting rewarded and recognized, to see if you have a partner, to see if you, like, it's like something where they see your big butt and they're so triggered because they know that they will never have you. These, especially these strangers, they literally throw tantrums, or they become desperate for your attention. Some of them might break out into song and dance, or they will force a conversation. I'm here, start an uproar, start screaming, yelling, dancing. I don't know, something where they literally start acting outrageous, around you, absurd around you, like doing anything, like throwing tantrums in the street to like get your attention or something. Like, it's like something where they're literally so desperate and emasculated, they literally cannot control themselves, and they're aligned with an ego. And if these are intimate unions, they really wanted to obstruct your travel and movement, and they're triggered because that didn't work, and they just become subsumed by the void of nothingness and burdened by their lack of planning, lack of action, lack of decision making. And you just left them there with empathy, and they're there on the jelly team, mad, in a one-sided conflict, while you go off and have a perfect ass life. That's what I'm seeing, pal 3. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.